Okay, I said we got a really big show today, right? I said the next topic is a really big and important topic. It is, what is the ultimate source of energy in the universe? That's what it really is about. Do you know what in the world? Look at that. Okay, my TV studio just decided to modify itself. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, so we'd said we have a really big show, and the real question is, we said, what are we talking about? We're talking about energy. And what is the ultimate source of energy in the universe? That thing right there, it's the sun. Sunlight is the ultimate source of energy in the universe for you and I. Now, I love to go to the beach, and I enjoy being out in the sun. But yeah, I don't get fat from it, right? None of us ever got fat from sitting out in the sun, but plants do. You ever see those big barrel cactus? They're in a lot of sunlight and they get big and fat, right? Well, anyway, they capture all plants. All plants capture sunlight energy in a process that we call photosynthesis. Now, we were just talking about the cell. I keep, this class, we kind of mush it all together. Stuff we talked about before is going to come up again later on, and so on. So we said that the ultimate source of energy in the universe is the sun, and yet you and I don't get fat from it, but a plant does. But what do you eat? You eat plants, or you eat animals that eat plants. So the ultimate source of energy is in that plant. And as I started to say a minute ago, we just talked about cells. And one of the organelles that we talked about was something called a chloroplast. I was mentioning a minute ago mitochondria, but that isn't the origin of the energy. The origin of the energy is through the action of the chloroplast. They literally can take sunlight energy and use it to add energy to an electron and then build from carbon dioxide. It starts with carbon dioxide and water. And so you add energy to some of those low energy electrons and build from carbon dioxide and water, you build a carbohydrate, a sugar, or this carbohydrate can be used to build a protein or something else. But the ultimate source of energy is the sunlight. And how do we capture that energy? It's captured in an electron. We said when we talked, again, going back, when we talked about an atom, we said, what are the three main parts of an atom? Protons, neutrons, and electrons. And we had only said one of these has anything to do with energy, and that's the electrons. And we said the electrons are moving around the nucleus at a distance from the nucleus that is determined by the amount of energy that they contain. And so you take one of these low energy electrons and you add the energy to it, and it becomes a higher energy electron. And then later on, way later on, when you are doing work, that same electron that was used to build the sugar that was in the candy bar that you used to flex your muscles, that electron releases its energy, you flex your muscle, and it becomes a low energy electron again. That's really what when we look at this slide that says the flow of energy, that's what we're talking about. The cycle of molecules between the chloroplast and the mitochondria is responsible for the flow of energy through the biosphere, our world. And so the chloroplasts use solar energy to convert water and carbon dioxide into sugars, carbohydrates. Now, where does the carbon dioxide come from? The air. So the carbon dioxide is out in the air, and the next two labs, we're going to be looking at cells, and we're going to be looking at chloroplast, and we're going to look at the underside of a leaf, and we're going to see these little lip-looking structures. They look like lips. And there's a thing called a stomata on the underside of leaves that it's like little lips that can open up or close. And it allows, that's how the carbon dioxide gets into the leaf so that you can build these sugars, we said. And what about water? Comes up from the bottom through the roots. So we had said you've got the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, you got the water from the ground, and you got the sunlight from above. And the chloroplast, the little organelle that's going to build that sugar molecule, and it's going to store it as maybe in the leaf. In this case, I started to say a potato, but if we're talking about that thing, he's not a potato eater, he's a leaf eater. So he puts it in that leaf, and then this guy eats it, and then that guy gets made into a hamburger, and you and I eat the energy that came from the leaves that he ate, and then we use it to do work. And what do we exhale carbon dioxide. So that when you break all that down, you make carbon dioxide again. Now we inhale oxygen. And you know what's funny? It's hilarious. Plants exhale oxygen. They do. So when they are making this carbohydrate, they exhale, they release oxygen into the air. And that's why it's so good to have forest and stuff around you if you have cleaner air, right? Okay, so let's see what we've got. So we've got a picture of some chloroplast, a beautiful picture of chloroplast and mitochondria, and we've got this back and forth, around and around. We keep saying that today, don't we? And let's see what this next slide says. It says that humans also contribute to the flow of energy from the sun through the biosphere. What did we say we do? We exhale CO2. So does that guy. But we all do. Any of the consumers. So this is a producer. Plants are producers. And everybody that eats that thing is a consumer. And so us consumers breathe in oxygen and exhale CO2. The producers breathe in CO2 and release oxygen. It's all tied together. Our world is amazing that way. Okay. Is there anything else to say here? No, that pretty much sums it up for now. So we're gonna look at now how do we decide which chemical reactions are going to happen inside of each of us within any given cell. Within any given cell, how do we control chemical reactions?